Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Greetings everybody, guys. Let's take a look at the gold market. The gold market right now stands in the center of turmoil of the political global processes that stand in the world because it's just the one absolute commodity, absolute asset that provides the protection in any events that happens on the planet, and that is the gold market. So when it's a really big unrest appears in the world, people run to the safety, and this is the gold. That's why our opinion and long-term perspective that gold will continue rising, and it seems that gold might be at the starting point of the long-term bullish trend. So in today's report, on the fundamental report, guys, we touched the topic on the Venezuela problems, and it's a real big discussion, and we have tried to estimate without any attempt to find out who is right and who is wrong in this conflict. We're not interested with the political background. We're interested in how it will impact on the market, and definitely it will be support. It will support the demand for the gold. But if you understand clearly that this conflict stands in relation not only to the Venezuela and its neighbors in Colombia and other countries, but it has the direct relation, direct impact on the political life of the United States. Because in the United States stands the big war in the clans between the president and, let's call it as the Democrats, the very powerful group of the politicians and representatives that stand in all major government authorities in the Fed Reserve and special forces in the army, in all government structures, government authorities that want to support the previous order that existed previously. So they have taken the money of the people, United States, and put them for resolving their own interesting across the globe. And Donald Trump wants to stop this process. And of course, this the system that works against Donald Trump, they do not want to let him to do this. And with all cruelty, all cunning, they are rising against him. So we should understand that. And the conflict in Venezuela, it's really will make very significant impact on the political balance in the United States, depending on the result. Particularly speaking, there are two major moments. So first is whether they will be strong enough to make the intruding in the Venezuela, and what will be the result of the all this company. So I would suggest that United States will be beaten in Venezuela, and they will be defeated, whatever they will do. So because there's too much opposition to opposite forces right now stands in Venezuela, and they just will not let the United States to do what they want. Donald Trump has its own interests in Venezuela. He do not prevent the possible injuring that is. I'm sure that they're leading by the Democrats, because that's the chance to change situation inside of the United States in his favor. So if you're interested with this topic, you could read our explanation in the weekly report. What really is interesting is all this mess, that this supports our view on the further increasing of the gold market. Whatever result will be, it definitely will support the gold, because this is really big tensions, big political tensions in the world. And this also works supportive because people run to safety. So speaking on the short-term perspective, yes, gold market has hit important target. On Friday we talked about the completion of major 1330 extension, and as a result we've got perfect evening star on the daily chart. On Friday we talked about the minor pullback inside of the body that usually happens, and that indeed has happened. Also, we've got the bullish grabber, guys, here, but as I mentioned last week in the weekly data, in the Euro daily video, that grabbers that formed after the major reversal from the major target usually not very reliable. So this is just some kind of the occasion of the combination of the price drop where it stands at the reversal with the MACD line. So this type of grabbers fails very often. That's why, yes, I have marked it on the chart that we have the bullish grabber here. We will keep an eye on it, but guys, personally, I don't want to take the position just based on the grabber, since this is not sufficient context. Existing of the grabber is not sufficient context for taking the long position. The more variable is the weekly XOP, weekly triple to sell, and a daily evening start. So this is more powerful context for trading. So speaking on the possible bottom of the price action in the next week, I would suggest this will be something around 13 even. So take a look, this will be Fib level, and that also will be the daily average sold. This will be probably the limit for downside action. The pattern that I see here, you could imagine it by yourself. That could be, guys, as you can see, daily hand shoulders pattern. So I have here it's 127 extension, but if you will calculate this 161, it will be precisely in this area, and that will be very good shape of the possible hand shoulders that we will keep an eye on. But currently we're trading gold down right to the potential neckline around 13 even, and very interesting how to take the bearish position based on the pattern that we have on the daily chart. On the 4-hour time frame chart, we've got the perfect entry opportunity, as we have mentioned, the possible bread body sell pattern, if you remember, in Friday video, and indeed this setup has been formed perfectly. So market has shown ABCD action up. Within the two closes, it has hit the major resistance, and we've got bearish bread body on the 4-hour time frame chart, because downside action here has necessary amount of the candles. So we have the bread body sell. The target of this pattern will be 618 support of the whole upward action, and that's approximately 1325. So but currently we should not be confused by the too close standing of the target, because guys, bread body in the current circumstances could become not just the pattern that will trigger the action to the 1325. It could become the pattern that just will trigger the downward continuation. That's the opportunity for taking the short position, and not necessarily the market will stop precisely at 1325 and just will turn to the upside again. But appearing of the bread body gives us very good chance, because until market hasn't reached the 1325 area, we could relatively safe trying to take the short position. Let's take a look on the hourly chart. That's the target of the bread body. That's our ABCD pattern. Downward action has started perfectly when the XOP target has been hit. That's the agreement resistance with the 30% Fib level. So also the weekly pivot point in the common week, and the downward action has started with the perfect bullish bearish engulfing pattern. So currently, guys, what we could do, wait for just minor pullback here, 30% retracement, minor pullback maybe in the beginning of the week. That will be enough for possible taking the short position. As soon as market will come to the 1325, you could move your step to the break even and watch what will happen next. Because I would suggest that that could become the starting point, and bread body could work just beginning of some great downward action, and it seems that it could be right to possible neckline of this reverse head and shoulders, because the pattern that has been completed on the weekly chart demands strong downward reaction. It usually, this is really the big scale pattern, big scale target, and it just needs some bigger scale retracement. And the appearing of the reverse or the appearing of the hand shoulders pattern on the daily chart looks really significant. So that's approximately the price action, the patterns that we'll be watching for on gold. And again, as I said, the political situation right now around Venezuela and the United States, it's very important for all markets, but gold market in particular, because as soon as the first results of this unrest will appear, that will have direct impact on the gold. and it's really important, guys. So keep an eye on these events.